if you're not getting the results, why are you continuing to post the same stuff? Because your audience is telling you, and Facebook or Instagram are telling you, that they don't love this type of content. So you've got to change it up. Hey there, and welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. I'm your host, Sam Hind, and today we're going to be giving you a quick power podcast episode where I'm going to talk to you about the 3 reasons your posts are not reaching anybody. So if you've been asking yourself, why am I not getting to anyone? Why is no one seeing my content? Why is no one interacting with my content? And how do I change that? Then this may be the episode for you. And I'm going to share with you 3 reasons that your posts are not being delivered or seen by more people. I am, however, going to deliver just a little bit of tough love here because I want you to be successful. And so this is a really good opportunity for you to get really clear and really honest with yourself about what you are actually doing on social media right now. And if you're doing any of these things, even if it's not all 3, I guarantee it's hindering you. So ask yourself the question, how can I make some little adjustments? Even a tiny adjustment will make a difference if you're doing any of these things. So let's dive on in to this Power Podcast episode all about the 3 reasons that your posts aren't reaching anybody. So let's talk about the 3 reasons your posts are not reaching anybody. And reason number 1 is, and I said there was going to be some tough love in here, right? It's because your content is self-focused and boring. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm not trying to be rude. What I'm trying to make very clear here is that when we post with our agenda in mind all of the time, and this is so common for anyone running a business, it's not focused on the person reading the post. And at the end of the day, this is called social media, which means that we need to be socializing and interactive and interesting. So there's a couple of things that I want you to keep in mind here. Have a look at the content that you've posted over the last, let's say, 2 weeks, and analyze what type of content you have posted. So put things into categories. Have a little bit of a look. And I want you to be honest with yourself about this part here. Rate your post and rate how much of your content was selling. So if you did a post that had a link in it, that talked about a product, talked about a business opportunity, that was in any way or sales focused, I want you to mark that with a little S and say, yep, that was a selling post. And then I want you to look at the other pieces of content you've put up and ask yourself, what was the category that I used here? What was this type of content? Was it behind the scenes? Was I sharing a story? Was I doing a live? What were the pieces of content that you did over the last 2 weeks? And then have a bit of a look at the variety of content that you have posted. Now, often I find that when someone says to me, my posts are not performing, and I go and I have a look at the variety of the content, I see several patterns. The first one is that it's almost always the same thing over and over and over again. There may be 2 or 3 different types of posts, but that's it. So first things first, you've got to have variety in your content. But the second thing is you've got to be testing new things all the time to work out what's going to get people's attention. It's kind of like that concept that, if you do the same thing over and over again and expect to get a different result, that's the definition of insanity. I think Albert Einstein said that. Yet we do that a lot on social media. I often show a little meme that says, why won't anybody look at my selfies? Oh, hey, let me take another selfie. And this is kind of that concept of, if you're not getting the results, why are you continuing to post the same stuff? Because your audience is telling you, and Facebook or Instagram are telling you, that they don't love this type of content. So you've got to change it up. So first of all, how many of your posts are selling? Second of all, how much variety is there in your content? And I recommend find yourself 10 different content ideas to trial over the next couple of weeks. So one of the things that we really encourage our members to do inside of our course, and we actually give our members in our trainings strategies to do this. We've got a training there where we give you guys a download and we show you exactly how to go through this process of coming up every 3 months with 10 to 15 new post category ideas so that you're constantly playing with new concepts and ways to reach people and then working out what works for you. So that's number one. Likely your content is self-focused. It's about you and your interest and your agenda and selling, and it's boring. It's not interesting to the end user. So do a little analysis there, get really clear, and create some more variety in your content. The next one is this, and this is really about Facebook or the platforms themselves, but it's understanding how they work. And so I want to explain very quickly the algorithm and unconnected distribution. In order for us to get to reach more people, we also have to understand what the platforms themselves are looking for. Now, every social media platform is run by its own algorithm. And an algorithm essentially is a program that operates in the background of that platform that analyzes or filters every piece of content created. And it also assesses everything it knows about the user. And trust me, they know a lot. And then deciding who to show that piece of content to. So, for example, if you're a Facebook user, on Facebook, it has an algorithm that learns as much as it possibly can about you. It learns things like what websites you go to, what posts you click on, who you're friends with, what sort of conversations you're having with those friends, what you do for a living, what your family life looks like, how many kids you have, how old those kids are. And it's taking all of this information and it's deciding based on what it knows about you, based on the interests it knows you have, and the dislikes that it knows that you have, and it's using that information to decide what to show to you. So when somebody puts a post up about something that it knows I'll be interested in, it's more likely to put it on my feed. So what we've got to understand about this is that every single post we create on social media, on any platform, is being filtered by its algorithm, which is deciding exactly who to show it to. And so we've got to get really clear about what is that algorithm looking for, but most importantly, what does my audience care about? Because here's the thing, if the platform knows everything there is to know about them and it knows what they want to see, but we haven't taken that time to get to know what they care about. So we've got fans and followers on our page, or we've got an ideal customer we're trying to reach, and we actually don't know what they're interested in. It's going to be very hard for us to create content that the platform is going to show them. Now, I'm going to add another spanner in the works here, and I'm going to explain a little bit about unconnected distribution, because this is a new challenge that we faced in 2023. Facebook announced late last year that they were going to stop delivering only content to people that you were connected with. In other words, up until the start of 2023, everything that you saw came from one of the following locations. Either you were targeted with a paid ad from somebody who chose to target you, or you were seeing the content because you were connected to the person that delivered the content. So it may be that you're friends with them on your personal profile. It may be that you follow their business page, or that you are inside of a group. And so you would see content based on that. Well, that kind of got changed significantly at the end of 2022 when Mark Zuckerberg came out and said, actually, let's flip the tables here, and we're now going to try something a little bit new. We're going to introduce unconnected distribution. And by the end of 2023, we're expecting that up to 30% of all of the posts that a user will see on Facebook will now come from an unconnected source. This means you are going to be seeing content on your feed that is coming from people you have never met, pages that you've never seen, and even suggestions for groups you've had nothing to do with. Why? Because Facebook really wants to reward quality content, and it wants to help people discover more things they'll be interested in, because it wants to keep users on the platform for longer and more frequently. So what this means is there's two Potential opportunities. Well, there's a potential opportunity, but also a big downfall here. So this is both a good thing and a bad thing for you. The challenge is if you haven't worked out how to provide good content that your audience wants to see, you are likely to be seen by even less people than ever before. So, if in 2023 you saw a decrease in reach, and this episode right now you're listening in going, it's got worse, it's because that unconnected distribution has taken place and the content you're delivering is currently just simply not being picked up as being interesting or valuable to the end user. And so now you're being seen by even less people than you were before because you're not guaranteed to be shown to people simply because they're connected to you now. But there is a great side to this, and that is this. If you can get really good at delivering content people want to see, so if you can get good at number one that I talked about in this episode, which is creating variety and having posts that people are actually interested in, you've now got an opportunity to reach people that you've never before had the opportunity to connect with. In other words, your opportunity to generate leads just grew by 30%. So the next thing you've got to be really clear on is how am I going to get to know about who my ideal customer is, what they care about, and what type of content I should be delivering to them? And that's a big question, but it's a really important one. So if your content is not getting attention right now, you've got to change it. You've got to come up with a new plan. And just remember, unconnected distribution and that algorithm, it is filtering everything that you do. And it wants good quality content because it wants to show good quality content to its users. So something else to keep in mind. Now, number 3, and the very last thing that I want to talk to you about is the likelihood, if you are currently not getting reach and your posts are not being seen by more people, is because you're a little stuck in your own zone. And I see this a lot. This is where people hide in their profile, in their group, or in their page. And that is a little bit like if you had a retail store and you were in a back alleyway and you just opened up and nobody knew who you are or what you did, but you sat in your little retail store in the back alleyway with no signage and you wondered why nobody was walking past or coming in. And the reason is because you're not getting out. And so being stuck in your own zone can be also another big downfall and another reason that you're not reaching people. So I want you to think about ways that you can get out of your zone, get out of your profile, get out of your business page, get out of your group and network and interact with people. Go comment on other people's posts. Pay attention to what people are posting. Interact. I really do believe in the law of reciprocity as well. And if you're sitting there going, no one comments on my business page posts, well, when's the last time you went and commented on someone else's business page post to help them get the reach that you want? Get out and interact, but also think about where are my ideal customers hanging out? Find some special interest groups and show up in those groups. And I don't mean show up and sell or promote. I mean, show up and network and build relationships and connect. The other great thing is with the new pages experience, the new way that business pages are set up, is that you've got the ability also to now use Facebook as your business page. This means that you can get out of your page itself and you can comment on other people's posts as your business. People will see your logo going with you when you do that. They will see your business page name when you go and do that. You can even join some groups as your business page as well. Just remember that when you do these things, keep it appropriate. That doesn't mean go and sell, hound, hassle. You've got to do it without a hidden agenda. It's purely about networking and creating that curiosity and intrigue. So ask yourself this question: how can I serve? How can I help? So if you identify that your ideal customer is somebody who has got dietary sensitivities at home, and that is typically something that you would observe and experience with one of your customers, then why not go and join a Facebook group? If this is an area of expertise and experience for you, go join a Facebook group for people with that dietary sensitivity and provide some value. When someone comments and says, does anybody have a great alternative recipe for a dairy-free, gluten-free, one-pot meal, go in there and comment and share your favorite recipe. If you identify that your ideal customer is somebody who's house proud and they're looking for cheap and easy ways to decorate their home on a budget, go join some groups. And there are groups for every type of special interest. And share some of your tips and tricks that don't sell but provide value. It may just be around a particular discussion point. You know, we were having a great training that we did a few months ago with a group of people who were really struggling with identifying things about their ideal customers. And one of the things that came up was one of the people in that training said, I've identified, and I don't know how to use this, she said, but I've identified that many of my current customers are going through perimenopause, and it's a common conversation I have with them. We often talk about it, but she said, how do if I know that that's a common thing for my ideal customer and it has nothing to do with the business itself, how do I use it in an appropriate way? Well, it's really simple. First of all, you could create a post sharing just a tiny piece of that journey that you may be going through on your page. That would be a piece of valuable content that's real and relatable that you could use. But secondly, why not go and join some groups? And there are lots of them out there with people that are experiencing perimenopause. And interact, build relationships, network and connect. It's purely about providing value and helping first. And then from there, you'll notice that those relationships will either turn into learnings for you, but you'll have more people coming to visit your page as well because they're curious. They want to know a little bit more about who you are and what you do. There are so many different ways of doing this. There are also networking groups that you can join. It doesn't even have to be online. But just remember this, when you focus on providing value, when you create good content, great content that's interesting to your ideal customer, when you've got good variety, when you're thinking about what is the algorithm looking for, and when you get out and you network and connect and you don't stay stuck in your zone, you are so much more likely to get better reach on social media. But let me remind you of this one last thing as we wrap up. It's not an overnight fix or solution. This takes time. It's a long game. So don't look at the numbers and feel deflated by them when it's not working overnight. Just remember, one is a move forward. So if your post reaches one more person today, that's fantastic. Keep going. But do pay attention to what people are telling you. Look at your insights, see what's performing and what's not, and also get to know who your audience is, what makes them tick, how do they use social media, and most importantly, what do they actually care about? So that's it from me in this podcast episode. I hope this has given you a couple of little pieces of useful information that are going to help you to make a couple of little tweaks that may just take your business to the next level online. That's it from me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this helpful, please share it with somebody else in the industry. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. This podcast is available on YouTube. It's available on your podcast channel, so you can go through Apple, or of course, you can locate this through our website and on social media. So whatever's your source, whatever is your way of connecting with us, go ahead, share that, subscribe so you don't miss out on an episode. But we just want to thank you for tuning in. We love being able to show up with you each and every week and support you in your business. That's it from me. See you next week. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.